Gen 9 has finally begun. We are into the final stretch and kicking things off by literally kicking this cat into a singularity and watching as it slowly becomes spaghetti. Let's fucking go. Florigato's flower bud is apparently quite hard, and so it sort of uses the stem as a yo-yo string and bashes you with it, and also its fur becomes needle sharp, which is a bit shitty for me, but I reckon despite all this, it won't be penetrating deep enough to be fucking me up. I'm gonna say I still win against Florigato. Now, Meowscarada has pollen-packed flower bombs, which might be threatening, but they may also be weak shit, because of its small size and maybe threatening, maybe not bombs. I think it's fair to call this fair. I win against Sprigatito and Florigato, and Meowscarada is a fair fight. Fuecoco isn't really threatening. Yes, it has a flame sack and can create fire energy, but it doesn't say it ever does anything with this except create its little mohawk, and since his hair is technically fire energy and not a part of his body, Fuecoco actually looks like this. Also, I'd win. Crocalor is a dense boy. He'd be hard to really throw around to do major damage, so honestly I just gotta rely on basic ass kicks and punches, which might work until he shoots intensely hot fire in all directions. This isn't great, but with the flames shooting randomly I might have a chance. Danny DeVito can shoot 3000 degrees Celsius flames while hitting you with the smoothest, most soulful lyrics you've ever heard. A true visionary and a military weapon to boot, Dan the man is not to be fucked with, so I'm totally gonna. I win against Fuecoco, Crocalor has the advantage, and I lose against Skeledirge. This is a duck. Just gotta give him a swift kick to the face and he's gonna be counting stars, then I can steal his sweet hairdo. Despite the decks mentioning them training their legs to be strong and kick gracefully, I still don't think it would do them any favours considering the height difference involved. Pick him up and shake him until he stops moving, baby style. Its water feathers can slice people up and its kicks can send trucks rolling. What the fuck, man? Since when did dancing make you so tough? Never mind. I win against Quaxley and Quaxwell, and I lose to Quaquaval. I don't really know what to say about Lechonk other than the fact that he's just a little dude that loves to eat food, and honestly, I fuck with that. If this wasn't a fight to the death, I'm sure we'd have got along swimmingly, but unfortunately, it is a fight to the death, and I'm certainly not dying. In this fight, the genders actually do matter. If it's a male, then I'm just fighting a pig, which is definitely bad, but if I'm fighting the female, then I am in deep doo-doo. The female's leg muscles are so strong that it can leap 16 feet in the air no problem, which means I'm going to get completely trampled to death. I win against Lechonk, and since I find the male fair and the female a loss, I'll average it to them having the advantage. Yeah, sure, the dude can deflect sides with its threads, but let me point out a few issues, namely, here and here. The dude isn't fully protected from anything at all. I'm gonna stamp all over his long head. Captain Cuttlefish over here is an odd case. Silent moving, sticky tough webs, dedicated scyther hater. Honestly, I have no idea how to decide this, so I'm gonna do the classic. He has stuff, I don't. I am big, he is not. Sounds like a fair fucking fight to me. I win against Tarantula and Spidops is a fair fight. I'm not gonna lose to a grasshopper. Don't be fucking ridiculous. I know the deck says it can jump 30 feet and deal damage to its opponents, but it's not like this thing is taking on anything even remotely dangerous. I'd like to see this thing take down an Eternatus. Now low kicks, I can actually imagine taking down Eternatus because this guy is evil. He literally has a showdown mode where he stands on his folded legs, and this mode is so draining on its body that it has to end the fight as soon as possible. And considering the chainsaw legs, I get the feeling I wouldn't last long. I win against Nimble and I lose to low kicks. Pawmi is quite possibly one of the few electric mice that can actively shoot electricity. However, no. Look at how fucking small he is. I am not letting this thing win. Purely on principle, I will live long enough to at least kick it directly into the nearest cloud. Now this thing can more reliably shoot electricity and has developed a fighting style around it, so I'm more willing to give it a chance. However, he is still a teeny tiny mousy wousy, so he's gonna die with a chance. Apparently, he can store as much electricity as an electric car, and while slow to react when relaxed, once in battle, Pawmot can strike down its enemies with lightning fast movements, so yes, I am now willing to give this little guy the win. He's also a pretty hefty weight for something so small. I win against Pawmi, I have the advantage over Pawmo, and I lose to Pawmot. These are literally just mice. How do I prolong this with something funny? I'm gonna kick these motherfuckers so hard that Disney will sue for defamation. Is Game Freak really gonna make me kill an actual child? I suppose so. So I say this is my lowest point in the series. I faced beasts, myths, and gods, and my lowest point comes at the hands of a baby mouse. But it appears so. I will destroy the child. I win against Tandermouse and Mousehold. The most intimidating thing about Fido is the people that will cut my head off and string me up on their village's outer wall for daring to mess with the cute doggy. It has nothing going on other than being extremely practical to have in a bakery. I love it, but I'm gonna kick it to pieces. No offense to all the weenie dogs out there, second favourite breed of mine next only to the king, but sausage dogs literally are one of the least threatening dog breeds of all time. They can't even pour a window with any ferocity. They only got little legs, and I would genuinely be so distraught about it, but I gotta silence the little guy. I win against Fido and Darkspun. Its oil is bitter and astringent enough to make someone flinch. Impressive for such a small thing, but unfortunately making me flinch is doing nothing to ensure your survival. It's probably just freaking me out and making me more uppity to finish it. This is genuinely plant life, so just squish it or something, I don't know. If I could get an out on this fight, that'd be great. I love Dolive far too much and would be genuinely mortified if I had to kill it. Technically, I can if I really had to, but I would never actively wish harm on this adorable motherfucker. And it can destroy a boulder with olive oil now. Whoever wrote these dex entries needs to be shot. I win against Smoliv and Dolive, and I lose to Arboliva. Feisty, fierce, great as a pack. Yeah, whatever. Get these stupid fucking birds out of my face. I genuinely couldn't care less about Squawkabilly. Dumb design, stupid stats, no redeeming evolution. This is dex filler for me. It's like Chatot if they removed all the interesting stuff and poured it down the drain. Fuck this bird. Someone deal with this thing for me. I win against this idiot. Thanks to my super high-tech, super smart Google search abilities, I have determined that Knackley ain't shit and I'm gonna kill him. Knacklestack very quickly went from shitty mushroom rock to 105 kilogram iron sheet destroying salt pellet cannon. Knacklestack is a large percent scarier than Knackley, and I don't see things going my way after reading its dex entries. Weird that he looks like a frog though. Nope. 200 kilograms? 7'7"? Rock monster? No thank you. Nuh-uh. Don't want. Sometimes I wonder why I even talk about bullshit like this, and then I remember that insane people think that they can take this on, when, look at it. It looks like fucking Sasquatch lumbering through the woods. I win against Knackley, and I lose to Knacklestack and Garganackle. What? 1,000 degrees? Oh, for fuck's sake, man. I'm just trying to kill it. Why does it have to be so difficult? He's tiny. He weighs practically nothing. He has no defenses. 1,000 degrees, though. And I lose. It shoots fucking fireballs, man. Like, what do you honestly expect out of me? And this time, it does have armor. It's kind of in the name. If the fiery explosion didn't blow me to pieces, then my skin would simply fall off my skeleton like the most immaculate plate of ribs you've ever seen. Okay, so this one might seem a tad unrealistic, but you notice how he only has blades. Yes, they're fire, but they're still blades. No cannons, no shooting fire of any kind. Well, guess what? That doesn't matter. Remember how he's literally just a suit of armor with sword hands? What do? He's armor. I lose against all three of these fiery fucks. It's a light bulb with a face. Just grab him and shake the shit out of him, I don't know. Throw him against a wall for all I care. He's not exactly made of strong stuff, and yeah, he stores electricity, but the dex really convinces you that he uses it for floating and naff all else. Oh yeah, see, this dude is heavy, and also, he definitely shoots fucking thunderbolts out of his hole. What a legend. I don't appreciate him murdering me, but I appreciate him at least looking goofy while he does it. If you're gonna die, at least you get to go out looking at fucking Disneyland Mickey Mouse. I win against Tadbulb and I lose against Bellybolt. Wattrel can electrocute things, yes, but honestly, he's way too small to do anything to me quicker than I can just swat him out of the sky. He's so small that it would just be a quick slap to knock him down before, I don't know, throwing him into a tree or something. And also, he doesn't even look like a petrel. He looks like this dude. Bigger bird that is capable of flying over 430 miles in a single day. That's really impressive, is what I would be saying if that wasn't 17 miles an hour. Yes, I know it's unrealistic that he spends every second of that day flying, but you gotta remember, I'm taking the dex seriously. Other than that, he still can't shoot electricity, so I'm just fighting a big bird here, and that is grounds for a fair fight in my book due to the size advantage. I win against Wattrel, and Killer Wattrel is a fair fight. Shroodle is mellow, but apparently if you piss him off he'll bite you with his poison-soaked teeth which cause paralysis. However, I genuinely don't know how well he'll live if I just ping him across the forest. He is very, very teeny after all. I'm just gonna say I win this one. Now yes, monkeys are kind of an issue, however this one is a little more goopy. Not exactly big or heavy, but he comes with a poisonous saliva which he could somehow get in my mouth potentially. I'm not gonna lie, this one is really hard to sort of predict, so I'll give him a chance. I win against Shroodle and I have the advantage over Grafai. Okay, so he's a very small dog, but apparently he's quite thick and it makes for great defenses, so that's a somewhat issue. The big problem is that this dick can apparently crunch through boulders with those icicles he calls teeth. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think this stupid looking dog has the advantage. Well, not only do we have a boulder cruncher now, we also have an energy blasting building destroyer. This dog can fire off chaos blasts to blow people away, presumably murdering them. Bad dog. Mastiff has the advantage and I lose to Mabostiff. The Dex just says that this is genuinely a ghost caught in tumbleweed, which is about as threatening as a tumbleweed is in this series. You know, the more I look at Bramblin, the more I find him oddly cute. I just want to pick him up and shake the shit out of him. Now I do not want to pick this thing up, not because it's threatening, but just because he's ugly. This tumbleweed has a mustache. Regardless, he is genuinely no threat. He's a little spiky, but oh well, a thorn bush never killed anyone. Well, not me at least. I win against Bramblin and Bramblegast. This sperm sample can run at 30 miles an hour for no damn reason. He also weighs 33 kilograms, so I'm actually a little concerned. That could definitely do some major damage if it catches me wrong. However, if I hold even one of his legs, he kinda stops being a threat entirely, so I'd say we're even. This dude is lighter than me, but actually quite a bit taller. He appears to be quite fast still, but the main issue is that when it gets near you, it will wrap all of its tentacles around you and drain your fucking life straight out of your body. Oh, and also it despises strangers, such as me. I don't think I'd come out of this alive. Toadscruel is a fair fight, and I lose against Toadscruel. This is small for a human, but absolutely gargantuan for a crab, and if a little crab pinch hurts, I can only imagine that the 4-foot crab pinch stings like a motherfucker. But regardless of this, Clawf actually prefers to just lunge for your weak spots with its claws and punch a hole through your body. He's pretty heavy and probably pretty heavily armed. Yeah, he can take this one. I lose against Clawf. Small baby boy, crunchy, tasty, spicy boy, delicious. I'm not going to explain any further. The dude learns flamethrower. Okay, everybody pack it up, we're going home. Skinny Jeans Freaky Friday over here can shoot streams of fire at you. Keep your skin tight to your bones, otherwise it might just fall off. Fuck you, Pokedex. I win against Capsakid and I lose against Scovillain. The Dex doesn't call it a bowl of shit, but come on, this creepy pervert is rolling around a bowl of dookie, and he treasures it more than his own life. I'm going to rid the world of him forever. Now I have to kill a poopy beetle and an unborn insect larvae. Very unsettling circumstances for me, but I'm honestly not fussed about it. I have no attachment to this thing. In fact, I didn't know they were in the game until I tried completing the Dex. I went against Relor and Rabska. I know its entries talk about it getting revenge on those who wronged it and psychic abilities, but floating a half-inch off the ground does not make a Pokemon dangerous, so I'm gonna fucking blow Flittle straight into hell with some speedy kicking. Nah. 6-foot ostrich, vicious temperament, psychic immobilization, 120 fucking miles an hour, what the dick. Who wrote this? Some jackass at Game Freak is laughing at me right now. I never stood a chance here. I win against Flittle and I lose against Espathra. While being able to bash metal into a hammer shape is impressive for a baby, it still gets its stuff stolen away from it by other Pokemon, so it's not exactly killing very much with the thing. I'm rather confident that I could beat up this child. Okay, so Tinkertuff finds groups of Pawniard and Bisharp to kill the shit out of them to make the hammer. This implies that Tinkertuff kills Pawniard and Bisharp with straight hands, at which point I give up. Ain't no way to fight that. The hammer weighs 100 kilograms and I weigh less than that. This idiot swings it around like it weighs nothing at all. It also uses said hammer to grand slam rocks at Corviknight. I'm gonna look like straight up whack-a-mole. I win against Tinkertink and I lose to Tinkertuff and Tinkerton. Wiggler is purely defensive. All it can do against a predator is hide away, which is great, but there's no timer here. Once I find it, it's as good as over for this wiggly fuck. Okay, so this thing has a vicious temperament, but the issue with this is that his method of killing prey is forcibly drowning them by wrapping them up with its body and dragging them underwater, which doesn't exactly work here since this fight takes place on land with no nearby water, at which point it becomes as threatening as 3 Wiglets, which is about 0 threat out of 100. I win against Wiglet and Wug Trio. Finizen is a cute dolphin. I don't reckon it's very aggressive, but honestly, who knows? Being a dolphin, we can assume it's at least somewhat evil, and I don't really know what the plan is for killing it anyways. Since the rules allow it to swim on land like it does in the ocean, I guess it'll just tackle me until I die, which would be pretty effective. My only hope is that when it dashes at me to tackle, I just commit 2 and drop my shoulder in hopes of knocking it out clean. It definitely has the advantage though, no doubt. Okay, now Palafin is literally exactly the same as Finizen, unless it transforms, so now we have to decide / figure out if it's allowed to. It changes its appearance if it hears its allies calling for help. Well, this is a 1v1, so it won't. However, this implies that its transformation is spurred on by strong emotions for its allies, or just whenever the hell it wants. Palafin will never show anybody its moment of transformation. Does this mean it has to be somewhere else, or just out of my eyesight, because it could do that pretty easily? Like Wishy-Washy, I'll let you guys decide what it counts as, but for now, Finizen and Palafin 0 form have the advantage. Now this is a big bird with some talons and quite a bit of heft to it. It alone would be capable of causing serious bodily harm or just killing me. However, we have to add on that it is a sky marksman capable of killing a bald man with a tortoise from presumably very high up. My only chance of getting involved in the fight at all is when it swoops down to pick shit up off the ground. Other than that, this guy is fully in control of the how and the when of this fight, which is the most important part. I lose against Bombardier. A 35 kg steel engine covered in rocks and poison, I literally can't do anything to it because it's made of steel. It's fast and pretty heavy and, again, made of steel, so this one's pretty easy, I just lose. Okay, now Revavroom is almost 4 times heavier and spits toxic fluids from its mouth. I went from standing no chance to, I might as well do the job myself, since otherwise it's going to be a fucking horrific, bloody mess. Steel types are just so unfair, man. I lose against Varoom and Revavroom. I was reading through its dex entries and read that it can wield those little wiggly blue things like fists and just start throwing straight hands, Star Platinum style. This wasn't awfully concerning because like every Pokemon can do that, and then I read that it had a metal body and gave up. Then I thought, well wait, if it's light or short enough I could actually probably just bash it against things. This worm monster is over 8 feet long and weighs 310 fucking kilos, holy shit. Now obviously, he's made of steel so it makes sense, but that makes him as heavy as 2 Mega Venusaurs. I am mega fucked. I lose against Orthworm. Poisonous powder is very bad and you should never inhale it because it can more than likely kill. However, look at how perfectly grabbable this deflated balloon is. I'm so just gonna yoink it and whip it around my head and then smash it against a wall. Pack your bags everyone, this stupid fucking rock can fire beams, which means either it's firing power gems, which is bad, or it's firing hyper/solar beams, which is disastrous. The human body is unfortunately not built to withstand beam fired by poison rock monster. I win against Glimmet and I lose against Glimora. This is a 63 kilo lizard that can sprint at 70 miles an hour while carrying a human. This dude only needs to learn one move, tackle, and 90% of Pokemon would be killed or injured heavily by this thing. I am in the large portion of dead things left behind in this fucking dinosaur's wake. What is a man to do against tiny Godzilla? I lose against Cyclizar. Despite the ghost type and the candle on its head, this is quite literally a fucking dog. I'd love to say that he has some saving grace, but no. Doggy. Houndstone is 6'7", so I'm supposed to be worried. However, he's lighter than Greavard at only 15 kilos, which makes me 6 times heavier. But he looks like he's made of bones, sharp looking bones at that. But again, I lift bags of potatoes heavier than him on the daily. This is honestly so confusing, so for the sake of fairness, let's call it fair. I win against Greavard and Houndstone is a fair fight. The Pokédex says something in Flamigo's entries that genuinely could mean defeat, but also it never explains. This Pokemon apparently ties the base of its neck into a knot so that energy stored in its belly does not escape from its beak. Explain, fucker! What energy? Escape? Energy? It's a flamingo! It learns Hyper Beam, but that's a TM move. You can't just say that and then not elaborate. Well, since they never explain, which just makes this a flamingo, I win. There's never been a case of human death by flamingo, and I refuse to be the first. I win against Flamigo. Toddle is a small whale, yes, however it is very small. It's smaller and lighter than me and probably a little slow in the head due to being, I don't know, a toddler. Despite their teeth and big mouth and horn, I genuinely don't think this thing can really do much against something of my size. The deck helps it none, and there's not really anything threatening that comes in a ball shape. Okay, except maybe him. He can freeze his surroundings, he is just made of muscles and fat, and he's 14'9" and weighs 700 kilograms. Or as it's better known, a fuck ton. Yeah, now this is an intimidating whale. Never stood a chance and don't even want to get involved. I win against a Toddle and I lose against a Titan. A regenerating psychic fish with the ability to boost its speed and that weighs roughly the same as me but is over 2 foot taller and is covered in spikes and sharp ass teeth? Yeah, no thank you. Veluza is a nightmare that I won't wake up from. Cause I'll be a corpse, like dead. For real. I lose against Veluza. Dondozo isn't very smart and teams up with Tatsugiri in order to catch prey since he's such a glutton. However, it doesn't take a genius to realize that the guy standing in front of you shitting himself is basically a free meal since he's also contractually obliged to try and kill you. It's just self-defense, right? Yeah, you can eat that asshole and no one will blame you. I lose against Dondozo. Tatsugiri is stupid weak and even he knows it. This is why it hunts with Dondozo. However, this is a 1v1 motherfucker. Tatsugiri's a little sushi fish and there's nothing it can do to stop me as I pick him up and simply throw him like a whistle dart 1,000 miles into the distance. Brains simply couldn't stand up to Brawn this time. I win against Tatsugiri. No. This thing is a primate that got so angry it died and then became a rage-fueled ghost with the power to shatter your soul with punches. You couldn't pay me to get in a fight with this dude. A regular ape can tear your limbs off. This dude could tear your body clean in half. I want nothing to do with this Pokemon. I lose against Annihilape. Clodsire is an adorable sticky boy and I would never threaten him in any way ever. Not that I really am much of a threat as this dude is huge and also really heavy, 200 odd kilos. He's thick and I'm going to be feeling worn out from throwing kicks and punches real quick. Add on his poisonous spines and honestly, I don't know how to win this fight. He's just too thick. I don't think I'm winning this. I lose against Clodsire. Honestly, if this thing didn't have psychic powers just oozing from its body, I'd still be in danger because, you know, 10'6", 160 kilo giraffe with a wild swinging neck for Chris murdering. I never stood a chance just on physicality alone. I can't reach anything vital enough to punch without getting clobbered, and it can just use its weight to throw me around. I lose against Farigiraf. 6'7", 120 kilo war general from hell who would put Sun Tzu to shame with his tactic of fuck thinking, kill the shit out of them. This dude literally has no idea how to do strategy, but there's one thing he can do, and that is murder. Sheer brute force is his game plan, and based on the height and weight and knives all over his face, I get the feeling that I'm going to be a victim of his bloodshed. I lose against King Gambit. We're on the fucking Paradox Mons already? How the hell? Whatever. Well, starting off with a banger, we have Great Tusk, and I don't need no fucking Pokedex entries to find out how this will go. 7'3", 320 kilos. Tusk's the size of God himself, like, what is a lowly human to do? I know, just go fight a dual rhinoceros that weighs the same as 2 Mega Venusaurs. Again. Fuck this man. I lose against Great Tusk. Now, the Dunsparce is odd because he's absolutely enormous, yes, and that drill tail is an utter menace to people like me, but for some reason, he's really light. Like 40 kilos is light for something 11 foot long. Now obviously, if I grab him, I'm likely to just have the tail whip back around to hit my face, but honestly, the chance is still there in my eyes. I'd say like 3 in every 100 fights I'd win. The Dunsparce has the advantage. Well, unfortunately, Screamtail is a victim of poor writing. Their dex entries mention absolutely zip, zilch, nada about their ability to fight or take hits, so currently, I'm just fighting with an 8 kilo, 4 foot tall balloon creature with no power whatsoever, also known as an easy fucking win, baby, let's go! Now I'm going to be putting some paradoxes together since there is dick diddly to say about them, and so Brute Bonnet is here too, and he's a little more nuanced than Screamtail. Same size but heavier, and this one has quite the menacing teeth game going on. He certainly seems more aggressive, however let's use some context clues to gain an edge here. 1. He has no neck, so if you're behind him, he's not exactly going to be able to turn only his head, and so his whole body will have to turn. And 2. Look at his legs. This man ain't catching up to you or turning around with any urgency. Based on these things, I think it's fair to give myself the win here. And finally, Fluttermane, a big ghost that weighs absolutely fuck all, and hence wouldn't be an issue. No immediately threatening physical traits, just some head spikes that honestly won't be a huge issue to avoid. Its long wing hair will make grabbing it a breeze, and then you just gotta slam the shit out of it. I win against all three of these dinos. Now this is a fucking scary Paradox Pokemon. 92 kilos, 10'6", holy fucking hell, that is a big bug. Even if you include its wings, it would still be like 6 feet tall and entirely capable of crushing you to death. Regardless, you try wrestling a 10-foot bug that's either thick as hell or just filled with muscles. God knows I ain't getting involved in this. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm going to say that Sandy Shocks wins. 7'7", and also a pretty decent weight of 60 kilos. Nothing to be trifled with, that's for sure. But it's also important, you know, I struggled deciding this because nowhere other than its supposed relation to Magneton do I have any reason to believe it's Steel type. Not heavy for its size, it's not actually listed as Steel type, no dex entries mentioning such. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this thing is made of flesh, but like I said, it's still far too big to be fucked with, especially with those monstrous magnets it calls legs. I lose against both of these Paradox Pokemon. 240 kilogram steel elephant with the fun ability to become a wheel. Moving on. I'm so sorry, Delibird. By all means, you should now be able to take me out since you're stronger and faster than you were before, but the dex hasn't done you any favours and so I'm afraid you're gonna have to die. However, as a favour for how much I do actually feel real love for Delibird, I'll make Iron Bundle's death quick. Holy hell, this is an intimidating monster. 5'11", yeah, he is literally only just taller than me, but 380 fucking kilos? This dude's about as heavy as 2.5 pandas all condensed into this Hariyama-shaped husk. A slap from those hands would have me hanging out at the big Pokemon Center in the sky, because I'd be fucking dead. I lose against Iron Treads, I win against Iron Bundle, and I lose against Iron Hands. 111 kilos? That's bad. 4'3"? That's good. Can actually fly? That's bad. Iron Jugulus is just an awful thing to try and fight. Imagine you're fighting this thick king and he just descends on top of your head at like 50 miles an hour. You look like a fucking flapjack in seconds. I'm not doing it. Well, I hate to say it, but Iron Moth is unfortunately lacking in ways to win. Yes, he does float, but his fire and his poison type go completely unused in the dex, or even just in his design. And he isn't big, and he doesn't weigh very much. I guess by combining his kinda pointy wings and ability to float, I could give him a chance, but I'm not willing to budge any further than that. Yeah, this dude is just a regular T-tar with some spray paint on it. I think I would actually rather watch my own liver be pulled out through my mouth than fight this thing. I lose against Iron Jugulus, I have the advantage over Iron Moth, and I lose against Iron Thorns. Frigibax, I ain't gonna lie, I don't give a shit about your ability to convert heat into ice energy because they never elaborate on that, and so it means nothing to me. Get out of here, you little shit boy. Now see, this guy can do some real damage. By freezing the air around it, it can create a mask of ice protecting its face, and it can also sharpen the fin on its back into a blade of ice. Then it takes that fin sword and does a front flip, slicing you open from face to groin. What a legend. Honestly, since I know it can create ice masks, it's safe to assume it can just create full ice armor, meaning I can't do jack to it since breaking ice is kinda really hard. Give him enough time and he'd slice me to pieces. It's 6'11", weighs 210 kilos, can freeze fucking lava with its ice breath, and also use said ice breath to propel itself backwards to then stab you to death with its huge dorsal fin? Jesus Christ, they really went full Godzilla, which I'm all about, just not when I'm trying to fight the fucking thing. I win against Frigibax and I lose against Arctobax and Baxcalibur. Now right off the bat, Wo-Chien provides a huge issue. He is literally made of dead leaves, so obviously I can destroy him, right? Well honestly, I don't know. Yes, I'm sure I could disperse the leaves quite easily, but the leaves form Wo-Chien because of emotion. The leaves aren't really a necessary part of the body here, since like I said, a strong emotion gave rise to this pile of dead leaves, so let's just say I can't do squat. So what's Wo-Chien to do against me? I don't fucking know, he's a pile of dead leaves with the physicality of a slug. It genuinely doesn't get less threatening than that. It is how it is, and this is a draw. This little snow weasel is actually fucking enormous. 6'3" and weighing in 152 kilos. This is a lean, mean, killing machine with a sword for teeth. Well, maybe you could blah blah. No, this dick can control 100 tons of snow to create avalanches that it happily bounces around in. I don't stand a damn chance. Wo Chien is a draw, and I lose against Chen Pao. Yes, Ting-Lu is a bowl with dirt and rocks covering its body with the ability to create earthquakes that run 160 feet deep. But honestly, for me, the real issue is look at the size of this motherfucker. Holy shit! This particular moose is a fucking unit. And considering its living fear, I get the feeling I'm gonna be soup before this fight even begins. Tiny goldfish, small, cute boy. Firebender controlling 3000 degrees Celsius flames. This fucker creates seas of lava and just swims in it. Literally, could this be any worse? This is another one of those fights where I genuinely just have to pray they make it quick for me. I lose against Ting-Lu and Chi-Yu. Okay, so Gimmighoul is a threat because anyone who tries to steal its treasure will have their life force drained away by Gimmighoul. Now, this is great and all, but two things. I know what Gimmighoul is and would solve this issue long before it became life-threatening. And secondly, who said I was after the fucking treasure? Come here, you little bitch! Yes, he's small, yes, he weighs nothing, but huge issue here is that he is literally made of 1,000 coins that he just shoots at people until they die. I can't exactly do anything to 1,000 coins since they're a tad durable when stacked so neatly. I'm boned. I win against Gimmighoul and I lose against Goldengo. Well, another Paradoxmon that doesn't give a flying fuck about dex entries and uses their sheer weight and power to murder you. This dude is 6'7", I don't know in which way he's 6'7", but he's big regardless, and also he weighs 380 kilograms, which is impossibly painful to be tackled by, especially when it's descending from the clouds for you. Well, luckily Iron Valiant is much smaller and lighter than me. Oh wait, it comes with a fucking Darth Maul dual-ended lightsaber to cut you to pieces with, and considering the two Pokemon it's based on, I'm simply gonna get my shit mashed by the Fairy Warrior. I lose against Roaring Moon and Iron Valiant. This thing is so fucking scary, man. I mean, look at it and tell me that you don't feel some high level of fear. Actually, saying that, he's somehow still really cute through all the feathers and teeth. Maybe it's just because I love lizards. Anyway, I've stalled enough time. He's 8 feet tall and weighs 300 kilos. You fucked me, Game Freak. Now, for some reason, I always assumed that Koraidon was the tall one, but it turns out this long boy is 3 entire feet taller than him. Is that because he floats and they're including his tail? I have no idea, but he weighs 60 kilos less to make up for it. However, this doesn't really make a difference. He's no iron hands, but looking at his feature, I'm not so confident I'm gonna come out of this unscathed. I lose against Koraidon and Miraidon. Walking Wake is 11'6" and is therefore twice as tall as your average raptor, and with a weight of 280 kilos, it's also 20 times as heavy. Look at that beast! That is a super ancient creature. Just because you give Jigglypuff teeth and a ponytail doesn't make it super ancient. You gotta cover it in spikes and fur and shit. Anyways, I'm dead. Now normally Paradoxmons just talk about maybes and magazines, but in Violet, Iron Leaves has a dex entry mentioning that there are eyewitnesses to it cutting up large trees and boulders, which means I don't have to speculate anything, it flat out tells me I'm gonna die. Super exciting stuff, really. I lose against Walking Wake and Iron Leaves. I appreciate that these two worms are getting along in this cool apple, but you gotta remember, the dex has nothing to say to these guys. Just says that they're a couple of chill guys. I'm not chill though. Seeing Pokemon starts me tweaking, because I've been beat up by so much that an apple will cause me to lose my fucking mind. I'ma kill this dude. Now before you ask, yes, I did have to skip a few Pokemon in the Dex to put this dude in the video, but honestly, if I had done Applin and then Hydrapple separately, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So here he is, and apparently, if all the worms' moods align, its true power will be unleashed, which I'm going to assume is its 120 base special attack stat. However, they all have to align, and he's still got some very grabbable necks, so I'm going to say it has a huge advantage, but I could definitely get close to killing it. I win against Applin, and Hydrapple has the advantage. This is literally a fucking ceramic tea holder, a shitty cup if you will. I can't defend it myself, so that's just a loss in my eyes. This dude decided to possess ceramic and therefore deserves whatever is coming to him. This is just another stupid tea receptacle that drains your life force if you drink it, which again, I'm not stupid enough to do mid-fight. I'm gonna punch this green idiot's lights out. I win against Poltergeist and Sinistra. Me and Okidogi are practically the same height and weight, but he is just a little taller and heavier. However, he's just a muscular dog, so he's not only got the muscles, but he's also got the teeth and the claws, oh, and also the chain that it can supposedly pulverize fucking anything with. As far as I know, I'm listed under the anything category, so yeah. Fuck. Yes, he's a small monkey, so unlike Okidogi, struggling to overpower him won't be an issue. Slightly different issue this time, this dude is a real psychic, and the toxic chain only makes him stronger. Just to dick around with people, he hides away and causes them intense dizziness like an asshole. But while it mentions nothing other than the dizziness, I feel like it is definitely one of those psychic types that just picks you up and throws your ass away. Pheasantipity is a weird case. Unlike the other two who just got superpowers from the toxic chain, this bird just got good looking. Please don't clip that. But that's literally it. It uses its pheromones to captivate people and Pokemon. However, with no other understanding, I'm to understand that that just makes me not able to do anything 50% of the time. As much as I would love to give myself a chance, this is still a bird, and as embarrassing as it is to lose to this specific bird, talons are talons, you know? I hate this bird. Funny name though. I lose against the loyal 3. Okay, this one is going to be controversial since I don't allow Pokemon to be holding items, and so Ogerpon should be maskless. However, it only has dex entries that are specifically listed under a mask, so to create any fight here, I have to give Ogerpon masks. So let's go through them. We'll start with the two that are just losses and are obvious. The Cornerstone mask makes Ogerpon as solid as a stone, and you know what that means. I'm done. Finished. Can't hurt it. It can hurt me. Those are literally the two requirements for a win. Secondly, the Hearthflame mask. It shoots fire and has thorn-covered ivy. Next. Now the Wellspring mask seems more forgiving since it just uses the power of water and doesn't explicitly fire it out. But the issue still stands that it uses ivy to attack and it sort of looks like Vine Whip, and also it is non-stop with kicks and whips, so I'm still fairly confident in the fact that I'ma die. Now I know Ogerpon did kill the Loyal 3 in a fight all by itself, but that's just lore, not dex specific, so that doesn't matter here, and looking at its height and weight, I think Teal Mask Ogerpon is fair. Yes, it's a pretty decent battler with nimble movements and kicks, but I'm bigger and much heavier, and size matters, so fuck you, I'm giving myself a fair fight on this one. I lose against Cornerstone, Hearthflame, and Wellspring Mask Ogerpon, and Teal Mask Ogerpon is a fair fight. See, now here is one of the reasons I was claiming that not every future Paradox Pokemon was made of steel. Let's read Iron Boulder's Violet Pokedex entry, shall we? It was named after a mysterious object recorded in an old book. Its body seems to be metallic. Its body seems to be metallic. 1. They aren't sure if it's metallic, so it may not be. 2. None of the others mention a metallic body, so they don't bring it up, and therefore they aren't based on how this series is ruled. And 3, he's not even fucking steel type. He's rock type, and he's still got it, so it doesn't matter even if you're the steel type. You still might not be made of iron or any other metal. So I don't want to hear anything about how they're made of iron and you can't do anything to them. Anyways, this dude's like 160 kilos and has giant horns, so I lose. Yeah, this dude can fire razor sharp blades in all directions to cut you and your whole lineage into teeny tiny bite-sized pieces. It's not huge, but for something on all fours it certainly is. 5'3", and also it weighs almost 160 kilos, much like Boulder Boy, so yeah, this Paradox Boy wins. I lose against Iron Boulder and Iron Crown. First off, holy fucking shit, this dude is genuinely enormous. 11'6" and weighing 590 kilos. I couldn't even lift this dude's cock off the ground. But I digress. He apparently has very few reported sightings in the wild, and then in the same dex entry, it mentions that there is video evidence of a rampage he went on where he was shooting off flames and shit. I can't believe this and I want it to end. Yet again, this boy is gigantic. Never did I assume I could do anything against a prehistoric giraffe, but fuck me, I want to think that I might even be able to get close to it before it struck me with actual lightning. But no, I'm forced into a fight that will start with me running towards Raging Bolt before there is a flash of light and suddenly I am a charred corpse on the ground. Fucking dinosaurs, man. I lose against Gouging Fire and Raging Bolt. This dude got 2 entries and that's all it needed to fuck me up. It actually only needed 1. One says the beam it launches when down on all fours are tremendously powerful, and the other says it digs holes on mountains, great, and also that it's so durable that even being caught in a cave-in won't phase it. This is a 6'7" dinosaur bridge that shoots railgun beams and punches mountains apart for breakfast, and it still weighs less than me. Regardless, I lose against Archaludon. Now, Terapagos in its normal form is killable, yes, but here's the issue. Since it doesn't need an item to change forms, I might never even see the normal form. Well, the terrestrial form is small enough, right? So surely I could. Also no. Yes, it's very small, but you gotta consider that it is just made of crystals, and also apparently vibranium, since every hit you land on it, the shell absorbs the energy and transfers it to Terrapagos. And I feel like once I'm out of energy, a few well-placed punches from myself will be more than enough to put me down for good. And regarding the stellar form, it's just the terrestrial form but the size of a human and abnormally stronger, so take from that what you will. I lose against Terrapagos. Tomorrow is the final day. Well, this is it. The final Pokemon in the series. And since it's the last, let's read its dex entries together. Scarlet says, it feeds others toxic mochi that draws out desires and capabilities. Those who eat the mochi will fall under Pecharunt's control, chained to its will. Well, luckily, I'm not going to eat the mochi, so that's good for me. And Violet says, its peach-shaped shell serves as storage for a potent poison. It makes poisonous mochi and serves them to people and Pokemon. Wait. That's it? It just makes mochi, and if you eat it, then it controls you? Sure, it makes a potent poison, but can it fire it? It doesn't say. Am I going to willingly ingest it? Of course not, you stupid bastard. I guess that after all of this, after 1024 other Pokemon, and the many, many, many deaths I have suffered at the hands of them, it seems only fitting that the whole series end with a win. Thank you everybody so much for watching. For almost the past 2 years, it has been a pleasure. I win against Pecharunt. I'll see you all in Legends ZA.